Hello, everyone. It's officially time to code. First, my camera's working. My microphone is also working. Good. And my dog is pacing around just outside the room for whatever reason. And here he is. Hello. Come. Am I streaming to the right place? I am. That's a new one. And the title for the stream is correct. Everything seems to have worked. I'm a little bit surprised because it hasn't exactly been working the last few days. So, good to see. Alright, hello everyone. It's time to use neovim. Well, I've already used neovim for an hour. And now it is time for round 2 of me pitting code editors against each other until I pick one to be my daily. Most likely not gonna be neovim, I'm not gonna lie. Where is it? Here it is, actually. Here it is, okay. Over the weekend, I gave 1 hour to each of these code editors and decided that Sublime, Helix, and Emacs are not good. Fuck Sublime also for their business practices, mostly. And their super overpriced software. It's absolutely ridiculous. It honestly does not seem worth $10, let alone 100. But I ended up liking neovim, Micro, Kate, and Zed. When I tried them out for 1 hour, I didn't customize them at all. Now it is time to try them out for an entire stream, customizing them. And today is neovim's turn. So, good luck to neovim. I was told to use lazyvim, so I will be using lazyvim. And then I'm going to be coding some file system stuff, as well as possibly preparing my library that I use to make apps for my operating system to also work cross-platform. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how much I actually get done. Maybe the entire time I'm just getting lazy git set up and I don't know, it takes like a really long time. All right. I need neovim 11. Okay, I do have neovim, right? I didn't uninstall neovim. That would be stupid. It's literally right here. It's not nvim, neovim. Also not neovim. I swear I had it. What is happening right now? I could have sworn the command was neovim, and I could have sworn I installed it because I used it for an hour on the same computer. So nvim. Did I? I mean, I didn't I type nvim? Yeah. I've heard of people having trouble quitting neovim or vim. I've never heard of people having trouble opening it. That's a new one. Oh, okay. I was using it from the downloads folder the entire time. Cool. Because I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I want to keep using neovim. I'm only using it for an hour, so I'm not going to properly install it. And then Helix, which got eliminated, temporarily added it to the path. Oh, that's it. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Helix, which actually got eliminated in the first round, made itself my default editor. Hello, Stony. What's up? All right, so it's just for today. Nah, you know, that's properly at the very least. I do have I can just make like a symbolic link, right? That should be enough. Because I do have this home bin, which is automatically added to my path. Final touches on the video player? That's interesting. I'm checking out neovim. Well, I already did. Do I remember the syntax for this? I sure hope so. Seems like I did. Yes. There you have it. Okay. That way I can easily delete it if I end up not liking it. High chance of that, I'm not gonna lie to you. And still access it without having to do extra setup. No, chat didn't convince me to join anything. I'm just tired of VS Codium, so I'm switching over to something else. Although chat is the one who I cannot speak. Who told me, amongst other things, to try neovim. So for this stream, I'm trying neovim. Then for the next one, I'm trying something else. Words are hard, in fact, yes. We are not backing up my current config because I don't have a current config. When I did check it out, the point was to do it without having to configure it. Quick question. If I press the copy button and then I press the paste button, why the fuck does it not paste what I copied? Linux drives me mad. The concept of having to learn how to fucking copy and paste is crazy. Okay, so is that it? And then they're asking me to do this. All right. Oh, all right. We're bloating it. There's a lot happening right now. It looks cute. Installed. Okay. I'm dreading this, to be completely honest with you. Yo, is it? Hold on, it's selected right now. No, it's not the exact same color, but it's a very similar color to the one that I'm using in my operating system, which means the marquee down there fits in perfectly. What doesn't fit in perfectly is this little side over here. Vim opt clipboard unnamed plus use system keyboard. What an intuitive command. Where do I even type that in? Where do I do that? Thanks for the tip. What do I do with that? And also, what do I do here? Do I install anything? Home? What is going on? Actually, why can I not do anything? Oh, look at that. The command line is up here now. What in the name of fuck did I just do? Is this supposed to happen? Yeah, the question is, where do I type that in? And also, what's up? What's going on here, neovim? You wanna... Okay, I'm here now. Do they know we have the mouse? Do they know we have... Okay. They know we have GUIs. Like, all this is a solved problem. This is a solved problem. Oh, the misalignment on the side with the bar? Yeah, that's super annoying. I'm trying not to look at it. Config file, which is... Oh, actually, right here. Right? A config? The badges? Oh, now I'm lost. Well, none of this looks like... what was just mentioned, so... This is interesting. As to why I have this open, I can close it. Cool. Oh, this is misaligned. That is entirely misaligned. Jesus Christ. Then again, it's because these icons are missing, right? It's right there. Isn't it just .config? I thought it was. Or the lazy or example. Why do they have to overcomplicate things so much? Genuinely, what is the reason for that? Also, my hair is in my face, so hold on. Let me just... The way I went from having a ton of hair to bald, if I... when I was like this. Alright, well, we'll figure this out some other time. No, you can't close it? Are you serious? Got the proper Vim look now with the hoodie? Oh god. Alright, in the meantime, let me do this. Oh, I already have the project. Right. So the entire time is this the default layout of it? Oh, you're sending a config. Oh, the file name probably that you're sending. Leave a space with a dot. It thinks it's a URL, so it auto mods it. So this is what we have. If not a space, then a right. You gotta hit him with the what the fuck am I hitting them with actually? Doesn't I get you to the init Lua? Thank you. Okay, let me do that. Init Lua. Ah, there it is. Okay. Okay, here it works. The insert thing. Not sure why it wasn't working before. And what you said, this chat won't scroll. I just type it in here, vim opt. Seems like it, it's auto-completing. Clipboard unnamed plus. Alright, that seems about right. I hope. So right now, if I paste... Bullshit. Oh, I do have... Okay. Either it already configured or it was already like that. Oh, I didn't mean to... Yeah, I should have done W, not the other thing. You have to like... Oh, the thing. Okay, so if I want to go into my project, I just go into this, and that didn't work. Why am I back here? Also, I do have my clipboard, so I think it's good. Wait, no, hold on. I keep doing the exact same thing. God, I hate this. Alright, can we please go into the... The fact that there's missing icons when this is a terminal program that you literally use just with your ASCII keyboard is incredible. Alright, so I just gotta do 0f1050 if I want to find files. Easy. What do you press X for? That just quits. Error while calling. Got it. Alright. So that clearly didn't work, but it's also already configured. So we can just get rid of that, right? I'm sure there's a way to delete an entire line. Okay, that saves it. And then how do we quit this file without... Did I just delete the entire thing? No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't even know what I'm doing here. All I know is I'm hating this. But I promised. Alright. So I want to go into OS. And then I want to open. I'm sure I can figure this out. No, I'm back here. I'm back here. Okay, cool. And I don't know how to exit out of here. No need for more config. The config is fine. I just need this thing to work. Without being so goddamn complicated. It genuinely makes me wonder, do they know? Do they know that software does not need to be this complicated? Okay, I made it back here. I don't know how to navigate. Can I do it with the mouse? Somehow, yes. What am I trying to do? I don't even know. I'm trying to open a file, maybe? That doesn't, yeah. See, I kind of learned neovim, and now I feel like I have to learn everything again. Except this one doesn't even have a damn tutorial. Oh boy. Boy, am I regretting this. Should I just make the stream last 2 minutes? How long? 24 minutes, that's it. We're just gonna leave it there. Lazy Vim, and it just makes you work more. Amazing work. Tab new? and file name? Then what's the point of this thing? Why am I looking at a list of my files if I don't get to use that? Why are half the icons missing? Half? When it's literally ASCII. Like literally tab? Or... No, clearly not that. So, tab? Can I just do open? No, just O? That used to be a thing. Okay, there's file. Did it not fully install properly? Feels like it. I don't even want to know what nerd fonts are. Remember what I said about configuring my editor? I am so ready to uninstall neovim at this point. I mean lazyvim at this point. I was doing fine with neovim. Just by itself. It takes time from coding. It does take time from coding. I'm 24 minutes in and I don't have a single line of code that I could even write because I cannot open a file. So even though it gave me an entire view of all my files, it doesn't actually let me open through there, or I have to, like, I don't know, beg. And even though it's giving me a list, okay, there's clearly something wrong here with Mr. Lazyvim. Wait, let me see that. Nerd fonts? Why would I need to install something extra? If I need to install something extra, then it's not Lazyvim. Alright, you know what? I was actually doing just fine with neovim by itself. The fact that I need extra shit on top of the already like pre-packaged Lazyvim experience is ridiculous. And for emojis? Why do I even need emojis? What's the point of it being Lazyvim if it's not actually Lazyvim? It does require a nerd font for displaying some icons. Some icons being like most of them. Kickstart.nvim instead. Oh my god. What even is Google trying to tell me here? Just this is already making me wanna tell neovim that no, sorry. Okay, can I just delete lazyvim and use just Vim, neovim, because this is, you know, kind of stupid. It delays running the plugins only when you need it. Are you serious? It's one of the best editors. Is it? Is it really? It doesn't use any new features that were invented like after the 1980s. How is it possibly one of the best editors? Like, computing has advanced. We're past this. We don't need to live like this anymore. We're not fucking like Amish. If something is only good when you spent a long time configuring it, it's not good. That's the exact reason I got rid of Emacs. Because there were people saying, oh, but it's so much better when you customize it. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Don't waste my time customizing it. Anyway, can I just delete the config? And be back to the normal one? If not, well, sucks. Yes. Alright, we're back to fucking neovim. Does my file just not fucking exist anymore? Wait, in the name of... I was in the wrong path the entire time. Okay. My lord in heaven. Alright, let's give Lazy Vim a chance after the ad break. Not right now. Not sure even how much coding I'm actually gonna get done before the ad break, because what I need to do is consider what I'm gonna do. Not this. This. Okay. I implemented closing files on Friday. I implemented listing files on the Doom Vim. I think that was Doom Emacs. I implemented listing files on Saturday, and I said today I'm going to implement a write and read system, because of course you got one file, right, with its normal contents. I'm even gonna draw it for you. The lines are way out of line, but whatever. I'm doing it on purpose at this point, but yeah. So you're writing to your little document, and you have your cursor here at the end. It's gigantic. You have your cursor here at the... My god, nothing's going right today. Why is this a thing? Alright, there we go. You got your cursor here at the end. And you also don't have the best handwriting or computer writing, so you're writing like this, and your cursor is crooked. Actually, that's why you're writing like this, because your cursor is crooked. Hey, Ice Dave. The problem is someone else comes along in the meantime and writes stuff as well, right? In yellow, because they're a different person or a different process, or even you, just with two different instances of the same file, because your code's not very good apparently. Well, where do you write to next time that you come back to this cursor and you wanna write? My god, I don't understand why these lines in particular, the vertical ones, it doesn't want them to work properly. There's that question. What do I do? How do I handle a situation in which you want to write to a file. And the crooked cursor is too much for me, I'm sorry. Okay, two people want to write to the same file, and there's a few possibilities for what I can do. There's one that I wrote in which you have to open the file specifying the permissions that you want. You can have an exclusive permission to write, which means that only you can write to it. If somebody else requests permission to write, they're not granted that permission. But it also means if you request permission to write and someone else has it, you're not going to be granted that permission. The other possibility, well, you can do that. So exclusive write, non-exclusive write, which essentially means that you and anyone else who requests a non-exclusive write will be getting it. So multiple people can write to the file at the same time, but you're told to remember that you might not be writing to the place where you think you're writing. Because again, your cursor is here, there's new stuff written, you don't know about it, you need to be made aware of it. And then of course you can open a file for being read-only, in which case any write that you do will be rejected, and no problem, you're just allowed to read the file. Even if somebody else has an exclusive write permission to it, you are given an... you can read it. So there's that, but the cursor synchronization is not exactly easy to do. Because for non-exclusive write, then, okay, you're writing to this place, your code, you context switch to another process, that other process writes all this stuff, and now you are no longer writing to the latest place. But next time that you do a write, you kind of keep track of that. You're like, okay, move me to the end of the file, and then write there. So next time that you write, you will be writing here. And your cursor will be moved appropriately. But in order to do that, you need to read from the file to synchronize yourself. Because I'm saying that's your responsibility to do it if you have a non-exclusive write. The problem with that is in between the moment when you read in order to put yourself where you want to be on the file and when you actually do the write, there's a chance that in between those two operations, you context switch and somebody else writes again and you are no longer synchronized. And I'm not really doing anything like allowing you to have like what is it called? It has a name, but yeah, essentially not yielding the CPU until you're done with a certain operation. That's not a thing that I have currently in my system, and it's not a thing that I'm interested in implementing. So this is kind of a problem. In addition to the fact that I kind of want my file system to be designed not necessarily to work entirely over a network, but if it can, that would be nice. Because I do want to have some level of distributed file system, and I technically kind of already do with the 9p device, and I plan on expanding it with the 9p protocol overall. But if that's the case, then I don't really get a whole lot of control over when other people write to the file. So instead, I was considering the possibility of, instead of using these three ways of opening a file, you simply indicate how your cursor is handled. Like, it can be static. It can be tail. or I guess it can be head. And essentially that just automatically synchronizes the cursor for you. So you make your cursor tail. Your cursor will always be at the end of the file. And automatically, when you do a write operation, the kernel will find the end of the file for you, put your cursor there, write your code, write your data. Well, actually put your cursor after the data that it writes. And that way you will always be writing at the end of the file. Even if multiple people want to write at the end of the file, they can do that. Except all the data that they write in chunks, you know, chunks can come from different areas, but yeah, it always synchronizes where you keep your cursor. Head is the same thing, except always at the beginning. And static means you always write to the, well, we don't do any of this automatic management of your cursor. I guess that could work. Technically, in the moment where I actually write to the file, like I said, I move the cursor to where you want it to be. It's all done in one operation by the kernel, so it doesn't risk being out of sync because you're doing it in two operations. The kernel can do it in one. Or, well, guaranteeing that it's not going to yield in the middle of the operation, essentially. It's still two operations, reading and then writing, but it guarantees that it won't write to the same place. Well, it won't lose it while it's doing the operation. I guess that works only if transaction like write for processes and file format can handle random switches of content. Garbage risk very high. That's the problem that I have, is I've only considered the very limited cases that I have right now for writing to files, which is one, the output, the process's output. But, of course, another thing that I can do is just combine these two concepts, right? You can open a file for exclusive write, non-exclusive write, or read-only. And this is important when you're doing a non-exclusive write, otherwise it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure if that's a URL or you're trying to say something. I'm genuinely confused by that message. Something, okay. If you want something like that, what is the goal? Otherwise, something like SQLite database file, which is intended to do that. How does SQLite handle that? I have actually no idea. That's the problem, is I'm trying to design the file system so that it can be used, but right now I'm only using write in one place for one purpose, and that is the output of a process. And even then, it's not even like printf gets mapped to that right now. It should be, but it currently isn't. It's just that you have to manually write to the output. Printf doesn't do that. So that's kind of a problem. I do think probably easiest thing for me to do is to combine these two. I mean, these two concepts. Right, so you request an exclusive write, then I don't care about synchronizing the cursor because you're the only one who has a cursor. You can request a non-exclusive write, in which case I can tell you to always write to the same place with the risks that that entails, or write to the end or the beginning of the file every single time. synchronizing you every time that you do that. Or you can open a file as read-only. What I don't like about this is that, of course, it overcomplicates opening a file. Opening a file right now is pretty simple, whereas doing it like this is not simple at all. I mean, I feel like this would be a solution to the entire thing. I just don't like how much extra management it needs on your end when you're opening a file. Not sure that this is going to be super helpful. Does SQLite 3 safely handle concurrent accesses by multiple processes reading and writing from the same database? If most of these are reads, SQLite can handle them very well. Well, that's easy. Only the tail seems to have obvious applications. Append only strategy for logs. Yeah. Pretty much. If most of those concurrent accesses are reads, a lot would then depend on how fast your file system is. For most desktop, laptop, tablet, phone applications, SQLite is fast enough as there is not enough concurrency. That did not answer the slightest of that question. Keeps track of streams inside file, like a quasi-exclusive write. Does it need to be a special file format though? Is it? Because I'm thinking, just maybe static might not even be necessary, but you can add a dynamic one. In which case, your cursor is here, and somebody else has written here. So your cursor would now be moved here. I automatically move it for you. That wouldn't be particularly difficult. I mean, okay, hold on. I don't have a lazy get. I thought I did. Did I also lazily add it to the path? I was probably wrong. Unable to locate package. I gotta do all this, don't I? Okay. So. Oh, I forgot to have my little GDB crash out. Wait, why is LazyGit in here? Are you serious? You saved it in here? Actually, yeah, discard all changes. I'm on this branch, right? Which branch am I even on right now? I'm assuming the asterisk means I'm on main. So then... No, that's not what I meant to do at all. Wrong program. Okay, I'm on main right now. Cool. Okay, so yesterday, there was this problem. For over a week, maybe? Or like around a week? In which opening a process twice in the terminal would crash it. And it turns out it was because of memory corruption. So I tried to fix it. That did not close. The problem... Now, I could have just put a watch in GDB to see exactly who's overwriting the value, who's corrupting the memory. Except the address would change every single time. So I found a way to make it so that the address wouldn't change every single time. And so I could actually put a watch there and see why it happened. And GDB, useless piece of software that it is, decided that when it hits the watch, it would just crash and actually leave my program unable to quit because I couldn't quit it. Even through like the max force terminate program, it didn't work. And leave it completely unusable. This was technically on Mac, but yeah. I ended up finding the issue manually and fixing it. But yeah, what could have taken me 5 minutes took me hours, thanks to GDB being completely useless for the one application it actually has. And people ask me why I like printf instead of GDB. This is why. Printf doesn't fucking do this. Unless, you know, you break printf, which has happened to me before. I'm making a damn operating system. But when that doesn't happen, printf is pretty good. Okay, the marquee covers the command that I'm typing. Oops. I just turned it off for a bit. Not that it matters. I was just doing basic. Merge. Great, that's a new one. Is this gonna be a thing now? This is gonna be a thing now. Amazing. All right, fat32.cpp line 322. I don't have line numbers. God damn it. God damn it. All right, here's the solution. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just 322, so this is not going to be difficult. Okay. Such an amazing editor. Set number from inside the editor. Set number. Thank you. All right, was I counting correctly? 1, 2, yeah. 322. It should be default. Isn't this a text editor for code? It also does the indentation weird. Wait, no, I'm pretty sure it isn't it doing the indentation weird. I wrote this code when I was on the other thing. Micro. That did the indentation weird, and now it stayed like that. I think, anyway. God knows with these editors. Okay. I see what the problem is. I have a keyboard macro that bangs out commands to reconfig the weird defaults. I have a mouse. I could just make that a lot easier. Okay, there we go. Issue fixed. Alright, so now I can... Cat doesn't even fucking exist, bro. Wait, what do you mean user process cat allocated? No, that should have never worked. Damn. Okay, you know what? I'm moving the marquee to always be up here. Because, like, it just covers the status bar. There's nothing important there. I'm thinking I'm not gonna be using neovim. I mean, I'm using it today. I already promised, but why? Why does it say user process cat allocated? Is still concat on main? I'm not on main though. This is read. Kernel. No, wait. FS. Red OS. Bin. Oh, okay. The clean just doesn't delete it. That explains it. Okay. Still crashes. By the way. with just absolutely no information. Because there's nothing weird happening. The process is just closing. Somehow that became a fatal, unexpected exception. That should not be the case. I have to do it every time? Or I can put this in my following... Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, well, look, there's an ad break, and I'm gonna give Lazy another chance after the ad, I guess. So... just kind of want to look at what's happening here, because when the exception is one of these two, I believe this one, 20, and FAR is 0, then it says process has exited, stops the current process, that's it. Not unexpected exception. If it says unexpected exception, then something went wrong. X21. That's a valid exception. Okay, I'm gonna run the ad and I'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay, I'm back. The ad ended a few seconds ago, but I stumbled upon this and I had to see if it was real or not. It seems real. It seems pretty real. God damn it, I'm not logged in. Also, what's in and what's random? So in is for input, and random is not exactly for a test module. I'm not sure if it works right now because it was a test module and I haven't used it since, but it generates random numbers for you. So you can, you know, use those instead of using like my random number module. Your dad is planning a new house. He said it's made with AI. That's a joke, right? What do you mean they're making houses with AI? Because like the next tweet that I stumbled upon is this one. Just making fun of that one. xcancel.com. That is incredibly aggressive color. But thank you for that tip. People were hating on Gemini's floor plan, so I asked Grok to make it more practical and just did a drawing on top of it, which actually, I have to say, creative as fuck. If it wasn't because it's an AI that did it and it's just like a glitch. But in terms of glitch art, it's a pretty good one. Except accidental. This is possibly the only time that you will see me praise something made by AI. I need to see this though. We've got a mudroom and laundry with a coat closet all together in the bathroom. I'm not sure what a mudroom is. Maybe that's a word that like people actually use. I don't know. But yeah, the coat closet in the bathroom. You know, you're going to get a coat so you can go out and somebody's taking a shit. Except they're taking it in the bathtub because there's 2 bathtubs, 2 sinks, and no toilets in that bathroom. There's the powder room, of course, which is literally just a gigantic room for a toilet over here. There's the master Roxanne, I guess. Yeah, so if you have a guest or a person that you know named Roxanne, this is she's a dominatrix, so she's Master Roxanne, you know. 2 toilets right next to each other? Where? It's to compensate for the thing. No, y'all, I worked in an office where they had this bathroom that had 2 toilets right next to each other so you could shit with your bestie. With the work wife. That's not a joke. That was actually a thing. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of it. I will have to check. I would be really stupid to delete that picture. It actually did the same thing that Grok did, and it just drew a door here. The code bath. Of course, you got the code closet and then the code bath. Right. You got the guest bath. You got the bedroom for full... Jack and Jill with only 1 L. Or number 2. With 2 sinks. 3 sinks, sorry. So that's Jack and Jill and whoever, like, makes up the throuple. They don't tell you that story. Have you seen the video with Linus and Linus? Yeah, I saw it. He's surprisingly for AI. Linus, not Linus. I don't know about Linus's ideas. Yeah, I saw it. It was posted to my Discord yesterday. Bedroom 2, and it's just a closet. Huge walk-in closet, and it's a tiny little useless room. Also, the absolutely insane door layout going on here. The way you just slam doors into each other. And yet, it's actually designed in a way that two doors would not slam against each other, but just people slam against each other when they open doors. The TV placement in the master suite. Don't you watch TV like this? It's for people who sleep on their side. You know, you sleep on your side, you're watching the TV like this. So, yeah, they thought about that. But also when you have a bed for two people, but there's only one of you, because otherwise the other one would cover the view of the other person. So, just one of you. Um, bedroom 3 might be the most normal one, I think. And notice the absolute lack of a kitchen. The gigantic great room, family room, huge walk guest suite. So the guests sleep on the table, I guess. How much have I written? I'm doing some file system stuff now, so pretty well. Well, supposed to be doing it. I am taking a little detour right now. Gourmet kitchen. You know, Michelin star restaurants are known for serving you like these tiny portion sizes. That's a 1-star Michelin star restaurants, 2 and 3 stars. Maybe this kitchen is so gourmet that it's a 4-star Michelin restaurant, first one ever. And the portion sizes are so small, they're pretty much invisible, because that's the only thing you can possibly cook in this kitchen, considering it doesn't fucking exist. You do have 2 double sinks, or 1.5 here, 2 here, or that's the I don't even know what this is supposed to be, like. I think this might be the fridge, or this might be the fridge, or this might be the fridge. Maybe one of the bedrooms has the fridge. I don't know. What was the prompt for this? Build me a house. Kitchen is right there next to the island. Yeah. No, I figured, but... Also, what's going on here? I'm assuming this is a cabinet, if it takes an L shape like this. It's labeled great room, but that's the kitchen all along that wall. Well, it is a great room. That's where you eat. Well, that's where you cook. You eat in the middle of the great room, I guess. What I need to know is if this person is actually serious. Okay, they seem to be trolling. Thank God. I just stumbled upon it, and I needed to know what was happening. I hope it is a joke, because genuinely you see some shit. Former house hacker turned multiple family developer. 8 units under construction, 59 units pending city approvals, and 48 units in design phase. This may not have been a joke. He may be taking it with humor, but I don't think this is a joke anymore. What's a house hacker? You don't know a house hacker? The fuck? Anyway. I bet you also don't even know what a coat bath is. Come on. The toilet summoning circle room. Which one of all of them? Okay, it actually doesn't have a double toilet. It has... I think this is maybe a bidet. Another post. Like on here? Amazing. Um, bedroom 2, bedroom 1. Hey, they look almost normal. We got a laundry room, dining room, living room. This may have been built by a human. Angle or square? Unironically, my kitchen is built like a fucking triangle. It's the weirdest fucking thing. We got the wick. We got a tree. Yum. There's wine. There's just wine. There's a pantry with access to the kitchen with pillows on a bed. I don't know what that's supposed to be. There's the West Coast deck, of course, because this whole thing is built on a ship or whatever. Oh, this. So are these the enforcers? They're there to make sure that nobody, like, does anything wrong. So people are genuinely just asking AI to do this. That's the shitting competition. Amazing. Holy fucking yap. That's 72 inches or 72 feet? I can never tell them apart. Also, the sizes here. What's 3 inches or feet? What's 30 inches or feet? What's 72 inches or feet? What's 30 again? Not to scale. Feet is a single stroke, so inch is 2. Okay. Not to scale. I should fucking hope not. Because that scale is insane. Also, what's going on? Is this a deconstructed toilet? This looks like a deconstructed toilet. Another big hit with the Michelin stars, by the way. Deconstructing food. This is where you shit your deconstructed food, I guess, that you eat at the gourmet kitchen. That is just an empty space. Yeah, so, I'm buying an old house. If I ever, very unlikely, but if I ever buy a house, it will be an old one. Because, oh, and far away from any buildings that have been built since the year 2023, because that shit is not structurally safe. There's no chance that will survive even like light rainfall. Also, what if my neighbors are like having a fucking competitive shitting tournament and they end up summoning a demon? Like I cannot risk it. I cannot risk it. You know how hard it will be for me to buy a house and then to have them just destroy it with I guess summoning Elon Musk. Okay, back to the operating system development. I just saw that. I should really stop scrolling on my phone in between ads because this kind of shit happens whenever I do that. My phone's like, here's something for you to talk when you're back on stream instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right. What was I even doing? There was a crash. I believe a really weird crash that I have to debug with a fucking that motherfucker. The one called neovim. Okay, I'm surprised this issue does not happen on main. I'm just gonna test it on my laptop real quick because I may understand what's happening. But if it is what I think, it should also have happened on main. And yet on main it works perfectly fine. Alright, so it says process has exited. 3 times actually. Kind of a little bit of an exaggeration going on there, but okay. That's kernel. Oh, I said I was going back to neovim, to lazyvim, so I need to do that. But might as well finish what I'm doing right now. Mother of God. Okay, right now I'm fixing a bug that's happening after a merge. After that, I was looking into a way to, like, handle concurrency with, or simultaneous writes to a file. I'm not sure if I like the solution I came up with, to be completely honest. Okay, multiple crashes appear properly. Oh, by the way, I had some code. Here. These little safeguards. So that if there are multiple crashes, I shut down some debugging parts, and so it doesn't keep crashing the system. Because if there's multiple crashes, that means that the crash handler crashed, which could happen. So I'm doing these if statements here to prevent that from happening. And they rely on this syscall depth variable, and I realized that the syscall depth variable was wrong. Because there was one place, you know, it gets increased and decreased depending on how many times you enter this code. And there was one place in which it was being decreased without ever being increased, so it was going into negative numbers, so none of this was working. That should be working better now. But it said process has exited, which, by the way, no, wait, hold on. Yeah, what was it? There we go. Okay, you can do that. You can have multiple tabs. And then, I don't know how to alt tab between them, to be honest, but yeah. Can see what the crash is. Now it didn't crash anymore. Are you fucking serious? Oh, wait, no. It only happens when you do use an actual command that exists. Okay, cat doesn't exist anymore. Alt number. Yeah, it was alt number. But that's kind of dumb that I have to do 1 and 2. I wish I could just do, like, alt tab. But, you know, not alt tab. It does say process has exited, which means that we do get into this code. Syscall depth is decreased, then stop the current process. And then it seems to be getting called multiple times. Because it's also exiting here. Alt-N? What's tmux? No, Alt-N doesn't work. Alt-T, Shift-T, Shift-N. I'm just gonna press random keys until it works. Never mind. Syscall 381. That's stop current process. The best way to get syntax is to just practice. What was the command for opening a new tab? It's not tab. It's help. Terminal multiplexer. No, I mean, this is good. I just need to know how to cycle between them. Yeah, this is the Alt 1, Alt 2, but that's kind of dumb. Windows T? Wait, hold on, let me try not from Vim. No. Also, for a second there, I thought that I somehow had a split view, but no, it's just that I selected a line. Well, I didn't try Control T, but No, also no. Also, control is most likely to go inside of the system itself. Or are you talking about pages in neovim? Wait, page up, page down is this button. Hey, okay. What a horrible key binding, but yeah, that's the one. Control Shift. You missed an F there. T is for opening a new tab. That opens a new tab. It's Control page up or Control page down. We're probably lazy vim. Yeah, okay, actually. Not sure why I'm wasting time with mvim. Do I have it open here? Yeah, this is it. Alright. Git clone the starter. Good thing common features share common shortcuts all over the OS and apps. Right? Even copying and pasting in Linux is so straightforward. I love that. And then, of course, I need to run a... I already did that. Nerd font. Fucking horrifying, man. What do I even download? Fonts download. Okay, I gotta pick one of these fonts. Are you serious? What a joke. You know how much time I could spend just picking a damn font? They should not be allowed to call it lazy vim. It is not lazy. It requires so much more configuration than just using the default experience. What happens if I download it? It just downloads a goddamn zip file. What do I do with it? Uh, you did warn me about what? By any chance is this enough? Yes, okay. It's that simple. Man. Linux. For the love of God, it's still not even like, that was not enough. That was not enough. You need to change the font in the terminal settings, so we're not done. In the terminal settings. Terminal has settings. So now I also just installed like a completely random font, by the way. Which one did I even install? Pro font. Amazing. Are you happy? It looks like shit. And I still didn't do anything. Fucking kill me. Alright. I need to restart the terminal? It looked like shit, so I think it actually did install the font, but I'll restart the terminal. I'm hoping not the fucking computer. Wait, yeah. Okay. We have it, we have it. Okay. So I want to go into OS, which doesn't work like that. I'm in the file system file, which is not the file that I want to be in. It's so completely different from how. Where even was the crash? Yeah, process syscall.c. Can I... What's the point of showing me this if I can't select it? What in the name of fuck did you do to my file, bro? Okay. Space E to see the file tree. Oh! Thank you. And I can double click. Okay. Alright. This is better. This is better. Thank you for that. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, so TS crashes when you when you read. And it crashes in file system 195. I don't love this, to be honest, because it makes it hard for me to scroll to line 195. Close file global. No, I haven't settled on neovim. I'm doing one per stream. Today is the first one, neovim, with configuration. I'm not finding the thing again. But yeah, I haven't settled on neovim. It's only for today. That suffering is temporary. 195 crashes. So this specific line. But you are checking if O file exists, so that shouldn't be a problem. And GFD is being created right here, so that shouldn't be a problem. So how is that leading to this crash? Type 195. Now, as to why I told it to jump to 190 to 200 and it jumped to 199. That's dumb, but okay. Also, I have to type the colon to open the command line and then type it again to actually use it. No relative number, no RNU. Okay, that's what I'm more used to. I don't really get the point of that. I've never needed to think of what's 2 lines above. I can just count them. 1, 2. Don't type it 2 times. What happens if I don't type it 2 times? Okay, it does work. I don't really need it. Okay, makes more sense. Alright, why the fuck are you crashing? Okay, first off, is it crashing for the other process as well? It seems stuck. So, kind of. Yeah, I got stuck. It doesn't crash. Damn it. Broke the branch. Everything was fine and then it broke. Is this something to do with the new pipes? No. What's really weird is that the debug information is absolutely useless on it. So hold on. Might as well do a little test on my laptop real quick. Merge without committing. We'll make clean. Make run. Relative numbers are good for relative go-to jumps. That is a niche feature. Even when I'm writing assembly, I don't need that. Delete the cat. Wait, I deleted the cat from the wrong place. Delete the cat. And try again. Yeah, both crashes happen on this. Oh. You just use a mouse and you don't think about line numbers? Well, I'm using line numbers because it says, okay, crashed on line whatever. And yeah. At 42, that's a new one. All right. I don't really want to push this. I do need it to check if it also crashes on my laptop, but it has to crash on my laptop too. I just want to see if it has some any extra information on there for whatever reason. So 32. Apply this manually. It still crashes, holy shit. Not going through this. All right. I'm not even sure what I was planning on coding here. So I'm gonna do something else instead. I'll think about the files a little bit for next time. And I'll go here. Am I in main now? It's so hard to tell with this interface. Probably I wasn't. Wait, what do you mean my branch is ahead of main? Oh, I haven't pushed these changes. No wonder this one crashes. Okay, all right, clean working tree, and now I would need to fix those bugs that I don't even fully understand because there's no clear explanation on what's happening. So here's what I'm gonna work on instead. Yesterday I was working on I'm not gonna bother, okay? Not gonna bother with neovim for this one. Holy shit. Okay, Kate opened on this monitor for whatever reason, since I just needed to edit the title real quick. I just did it on there, but it opened kind of like this, where the status bar for Kate was under here, not up here. So I almost closed OBS instead of closing Kate. But stream is still up, so we're good. And I updated it now, and it says cross-platform. Yeah, okay. So yesterday I was working on porting this library. Can I close this? Yeah, cool. Okay. Now this library, which contains all my syscalls and a bunch of utility functions, to the to be cross-platform. So I would just re-implement certain things, mostly syscalls and the way that I do UI, to be compatible with Raylib, so that then it could be compatible with Linux, Mac, and Windows and other systems if I wanted to. And I kind of created this, which is just a copied version of this, where I deleted any libraries that had issues. And I got it to compile, but I didn't implement any of the syscalls, not even... not even, what's the name of that one? malloc, that's the name of it. So it immediately segfaulted, which makes sense when you don't have a malloc implementation. Okay, but ideally I don't have to maintain a completely separate mirror of the same library inside and outside of the operating system. So the best thing to do is to make the one inside the operating system work for both. Obviously the implementation would have to be different, because there's some vector math stuff which relies on the architecture. There's the syscalls, which relies on the operating system. And when you're doing cross-platform and multi-architecture, then you need those to be separate. But as a first step, I noticed there is an include in here in this library. So this library is originally meant to be shared between the kernel and any user-land applications that I make. If I also want to make those user-land applications work on Linux, Mac, and Windows, then I also need to make this library cross-platform, which is what I'm doing. But the whole time, the library has had this include here, which kind of allowed you to include the kernel header files and to call functions from the kernel. Now the library gets compiled for the kernel and it gets compiled for userland separately. So it's a little bit of a cheat that's not supposed to be happened. To happen. It will fail if you try to use any of those inside of cross-platform, but if you try to use them, not inside of cross-platform, inside of userland, but if you try to use them cross-platform, it'll just explode. So the first thing to do is to get rid of this and fix whatever compiler errors I get from that. So I'm going to do that. And about the file system stuff, I feel like I might leave that one as a to-do because I don't need it right now. The, exclusive write, non-exclusive write stuff, synchronization right now, because I don't have a point of that. Yeah, compatibility with the C standard library is another thing. My malloc implementation is slightly different. My free implementation is slightly different than some other ones like string length. I would have to change their names so that they don't conflict with the ones in libc. But the idea is to have cross-platform work with Raylib. But even then, I will need to use libc. And so I will need to look at changing some syscall names, which seems like a pain in the ass. Especially malloc. Malloc is used everywhere and it's so simple. I don't want to change that one. Free, I also don't want to change, but I feel like I have to. Because I use a sized free. You explicitly have to free by size. That's not how it usually works, but it is how it works for me. String length will be an easy one to fix. It's just a simple change. File opens, those are other ones that are going to be quite a pain in the ass to change. But okay, step number 1. If I compile now, I'm going to get this. Audio.wav is, for whatever reason, because it really shouldn't be doing this, including an allocator. Why does it start like this by default? Who wants this? Why is this the default? It is using... Oh, all the includes are also closed. This talloc, which is an allocator used exclusively for memory pages. For the MMU pages, I mean. So that's a little weird. Not sure why that's a thing. Wait, I'm doing this. Which branch am I on? I'm on main. Oh, it says right here. I'm on main. Cool. Oh, and Control S works. Oh. All right. It's also using the kprintf implementation, the kernel's printf implementation, so we can get rid of that. But of course, it's not as simple as shift command. All right. I don't think neovim's gonna pass to the next step, to be completely honest with you. Not lazy vim in the slightest. Micro, I feel like, does a better job. As a default experience, I don't know about porting. Plugins and configuration. I'll have to look into that. Okay, this one's kind of a big one. Networking. I always forget which layer it's supposed to be on. Not this one. Okay. Networking has sockets which are exposed to userland through the syscalls. And that would be csocket.h, I believe. Yeah, should be this. Helix is nice. Kind of forced itself to be my default, but I don't like it too much. Between Helix and neovim, I picked neovim. Now I'm not so sure because it is a nicer default experience. But between the two, I pick micro anyway, so micro wins. Okay, this is the one that is actually used to implement sockets. And it includes csocket TCP, csocket UDP, console KIO. You do not need to use that. Memory page allocator. I don't want you to use that either. And it's also complaining about the port manager. But that's in socket.hpp, which I'm pretty sure is not actually necessary. No, wait. It is. Okay, the sprint needs to go. No, I'm a little confused, but what's going on here? The syscalls in the kernel call create socket. What was that? I have no idea what's happening. Create socket is a function of csocket. Okay. Damn it. I figured this would happen. I feel like there's a mix of privileged and unprivileged code here that should not be here. So most likely these four need to go into the networking code directly, whereas checksums, net, and network types stay out here. And I'm not even going to attempt to move files with neovim. I don't know if it can do that, but I don't want it to do that. I'm good with doing that myself. Thank you very much. So shared, right? Net would go into kernel networking. These four over here. All right. That's... Oh, wait, no. The change that I made inside one of those files now needs to go. I am hating every second that I spend in neovim, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not seeing neovim making it past this round. Networking. Internet layer? No. Transport layer? Transport layer, that's the one. And bring back this and this. All right. What now? Yeah, any call to net slash something now becomes a call, most likely, to network dot something. And I'm not sure why syscalls is importing that. There. I'm forcing myself to use neovim so I can pick a new editor, but neovim is definitely not gonna win. Just for the rest of the stream, I'm using neovim. Okay, sock DST kind. Can I search by name? Like a keyword, like search in files? Socket kinds, socket types needed to stay behind. So that's in transport layer, socket types, you go in here. Syscalls, you now do use that. Can you bring that back? Can you not? No, of course not. So just include net slash socket types.h. Okay, seems like the networking code has been moved correctly. I think that let me search for files. I wanted to search inside of files, but I guess I'm good with that now. Yeesh, a medium article for this. Your config should look like... Isn't the point that it's super customizable? Use slash? No, wait, not here, probably. Oh, wait, is this for searching? Yeah, that seems like it. All right, so what did it say? It was missing. It says it here. Audio mixer.h. So... No, it's looking in this specific file. Okay, that doesn't matter. I know exactly what the problem is. It's in audio 4. Dot. I'm not sure if it says .h. Yeah. Why are you using the audio mixer? I'm not sure you should be using that. Holy shit. What was he using from audio mixer? Oh. Okay. Well, you can use that. It just needs to be moved. Well, there is a... First off, we're not going to spend that much time customizing everything. If something needs this much customization, it was just poorly designed. Not much can be done about that. But also, can I just use Control Z? Of course not. Right, because Control Z does something else, and then how do you go back? That's not how you go back. Was it foreground? Why do I feel like it was foreground? It was not foreground. FG? It was FG. Okay. Bye, MX. Thanks for joining. Okay, so you come back. Audio mixer.h, which is actually just types. So, boom. Okay, but it has audio samples and audio lifetime. Where were you getting that from? Audio lifetime, audio samples. Mind you, I copied this exactly. So how exactly were these two declared before? U for undo, right? I forgot about that. What even was the name of them? Audio lifetime and then audio samples. I don't understand how this header had access to them before. Artwork. I mean, thank you for the cheat sheet, but oh my god. You wanna cheat sheet for everything else? Here, right here, the mouse. Pretty great invention. Oh, they're here. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Now I messed up the order. Well, let's check the cheat sheet. Not that this cheat sheet is any... first off, the word cheat sheet is hard for me to say somehow. But a cheat sheet this big is so hard to... I feel like I say it so weird. It's hard to navigate. This feels useless. I want to transpose, maybe that's the word, transpose 2 letters. No. I wanted to transpose 2 lines. That's what I want to do. Because one header needs to come before the other one. Can you help me transpose 2 lines, please, for the love of God? Replace, join, reflow, switch, change, delete, transpose, undo, restore. Okay, I have a genuine question. Hold on, let me see if I find it first. Shift left, shift right, yank, delete. Oh my god. Yeah, I just want to move this line below this, above this line. Like an alt cursor, you know? But I have a genuine question for neovim enjoyers. Why? Why go through all this? M+1? Wait, this is not normal mode. This is normal mode. Oh. Is it me or did it stop doing it? Alright, there it is. That's fixed. Yeah, that's weird. Alright. We've moved past The two problematic libraries were actually easy to fix. The allocator somehow includes the console, so I'll need to remove that. And then at the very least, the headers of my library will be ready for cross-platform. Then I'll have to deal with the syscalls, and that's going to be a painful one. I'll be back in 3 minutes. I'm back. All right. I'm writing my own kernel. It has some Unix elements. It's not really Unix-like. File system is, though. File system is the closest Unix-like thing that I have. I was actually going to work on a file system, but had some errors merging, which I could have just not fucking done. I could have just not merged. And also didn't really know what I was going to be doing today. I was considering like how to make it so that you can write to a file from multiple places at the same time, but it's not a thing that I need right now. So I feel like I'm not going to be doing it for the time being. I'm just going to later after the stream fix the bug that I'm having. Hopefully there's not going to be more, and I can finish the file system refactor for now. Vim bindings are not something you learn in one coding session. You need to adjust them gradually. That is, okay, the question that I don't think anyone in chat was able to answer before. Why? Why do this to yourself? Genuinely, why do this to yourself? GUI text editors don't need the mouse if you don't want to use the mouse. That's the cool thing about them. They have hotkeys. Pretty much all programs have hotkeys if you are a mostly keyboard user. You don't want to move between. Sorry about that. I had OBS selected and it has a hotkey for switching scenes, so I switched to the other scene by accident. Soding uses Emacs, and I think maybe Casey Muratori uses Emacs. I'm not sure. I feel like I heard him say that. Muratori. No, this is not his. So yeah, I just wonder why. What is that video? Casey's Emacs file? Okay, so that feels like he uses it. Happy you found me. Welcome. Also, I'm seeing a influx of people on YouTube, so welcome everybody. Same thing happened on Twitch a few days ago. I randomly learned Emacs on DOS instead of Vi by pure chance, so I grew up on Emacs. I wish I learned Vi. Uses evil Emacs apparently. I personally use neovims. Yeah, but why? Okay, let's put it this way. Why is that the language? When did... What? Also interesting. It switches the side of the sidebar. I like the feeling of making my own dev environment. Can't you do that with a GUI editor though? Because you have to admit there's a few places in which the mouse is more useful than the keyboard. And in those places, having a GUI editor that works well with the mouse is useful. But then you have hotkeys. And you could make a customizable code editor. That was Arabic, I think. Actually switching to the left, yeah, I think it's Arabic. You know what? I really want to see the replies to this tweet. Xcancel, that's the name of it. Also, thanks for the hack of Xcancel. Although this screen is very scary. I feel like I'm being told, like, you are being hacked. Please stand by. People usually use them in GUI editors to get the best of both worlds. Yeah, I heard about that. I think it's pretty popular to do that in VS Code or VS Code. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And there's so much argument about which code editor is better. I'm genuinely just like, okay, I'm trying to understand you people. That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to see everyone's point of view, in addition to the fact that I want to make a code editor, so I feel like I should explore code editors a little bit. I just genuinely do not see the point. I have to say, I absolutely do not see the point. Especially Vim is so command heavy. It relies so much on commands, not hotkeys. I don't know what Vim motions are, but yeah. Commands for cursor movement in normal mode. Are they really more powerful than this? Just clicking where I want to be? Why Ubuntu? Because it's simple. I was considering, not gonna lie, for the same educational purpose, doing the same thing that I'm doing for distros, but not one an hour, obviously, and not even one per stream. It would be something like one per weekend. I stream Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, so I was considering doing 1 4-day block per distro. After I'm done picking an editor. But there's not that many distros that I would be interested in checking out. Like, I don't want to do Arch, where I have to configure literally everything myself, because first off, I'm not going to be doing that on the stream. And I'm not going to be doing that every day. I feel like I'm gonna go mad. I don't know if I'm gonna do the distro thing. But I want to check out a couple more distros. Maybe I can do it on QEMU actually, and not, you know, um, sacrifice my sanity in the process. I don't know how. A piece of software that I use to emulate computers literally every day, I forgot that it exists and I can use it for this purpose. Also, I feel like Plan 9, which is made by the same people that made Unix as a successor to Unix, when they made Unix, UIs were not a thing. Eventually, they became a thing. So when they made Plan 9 in the 90s, they realized that, well, we have the mouse, we have UIs, we can make an operating system based around these things. And I feel like they were considering whether they wanted to make it mouse-centered or keyboard-centered or both. And they decided on both because they looked at how people use the computer and they were faster when they used both. That is the thing I'm remembering. I'm trying to see if I can back it up. But to be honest, this is a subject that I'm talking about because I'm doing this right now, but it's not a subject that I am in the slightest interested in. You know how you code faster with whatever editor you're used to. If, like me, you don't like the editor that you're using, you want to use another one, then you spend some time, you know, shopping around for one. You pick it, you get used to it, and then you're going to be fast again. You're going to be a little bit slower. In the meantime, that's not going to be a problem. But this kind of incessant debate on which editor you should use or whether you should use the mouse or not, or all of this stuff just gets in the, you know what slows you down is that. More than, you know, not having an editor that allows you to code 3% faster. Arguing online about which editor is better is slowing you down more than that. But I do want to see that. Mouse involves less cognitive load. You can spend more time thinking about your problem. The apparently verifiable increase in speed that comes with the pointing device is an additional benefit. Yeah, so they're mentioning what I'm saying here, but not a whole lot of information about it. Then again, it's a Reddit thread. Different desktop environment or window manager? I could do that, right? I don't think there's anything stopping me from installing a new desktop environment, a new window manager on the same distro that I'm currently on. I think that's a thing that I can do. Probably not on stream, the installation process, because it probably will break. But I do think I can do that, so maybe that's an option. Just Ubuntu's not necessarily my favorite. I might do a little bit of distro exploration just on QEMU, you know. We'll see. Bunch of VMs with different distros and use the VM as a desktop. Yeah. Essentially just to see if I like something other than Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is the only one that I've been using daily. But to be honest, I formed an opinion on it very quickly. I just want to see what it's like on different distros. I was gonna go with Fedora instead of Ubuntu, and I don't remember what made me choose Ubuntu in the end. I think I actually installed Fedora and then I uninstalled it and installed Ubuntu. Well, I wiped it and installed Ubuntu instead. Login of Ubuntu shows a selection at the bottom right of what DE you want to use, so definitely. It does? I need to check that next time. It also always opens on this monitor, which really bothers me. Nix OS, Debian Arch. I feel like I should just watch a bug video on this subject. I feel like he's already done this. Actually, when I was considering how to do theming for my operating system, I did watch a bug video on... I don't remember if it was on Hyperland or what exactly. But like I saw it. I saw all the way that you do configuration and I was just like, we're not doing this. I actually really hate the fact that I'm doing configuration with a with a file. I said that eventually I'm going to create an application to allow you to do customization. Are you saying that I was watching my own stream? Actually, yeah, because I used it to get content for a short a while ago. I think it was the Hyperland video. Yeah, this one. I watched this one and I was just like, no, thank you. I don't want to base my customization of Hyperland in the slightest. Thank you very much. To go to definition by mouse, it is 1 second to get a hand from keyboard on mouse. 1 second? It does not take you 1 second. In neovim, it's subconscious, press 3 keys and there you are. DWM may be cool if you want to code your own window manager. Dynamic window manager. Is a dynamic window manager. For X. Manages windows in tiled, monocole, and floating layouts. Interesting. I technically have a window manager. I just want to improve it a little bit. No 9p support? Why would it have 9p support? That's another thing that kind of confuses me about Linux. Keep in mind, I don't know much about customizing Linux or coding for Linux. So I don't know much about like Windows servers and stuff. Why would a Windows server have 9p support? If it's the same 9p that I'm expecting, which I think it is, are we talking about a networked file system? Why is that a thing in a window manager? Shouldn't the file system and the network manager be separate from each other? I feel like that should be a thing. I don't understand why they're linked. Then again, that comes from like me not knowing what a window manager even technically does, besides manage windows. Because I am not familiar with the way that Linux is structured, for example. I didn't mean to open that. So that kind of thing is kind of confusing when it comes to Linux. Just basing myself off of name alone, you know? Oh no. Oh, okay, hold on. In Hyperland, you don't need to rebuild or even restart something to give the changes to the window manager. Interesting. Yeah, that's not a thing that you can do right now. There's no hard reloading. It takes you like a second to boot anyway. And it's not like you can do a whole lot that requires you to save the state of what you're currently doing. So for the time being, I'm not in a hurry to implement that. Same reason why the file system thing that I did consider today, I'm not going to actually implement because I wouldn't use it. And if I don't use it, then I wouldn't be able to test it properly. And if I don't test it properly, once I do need to test it properly, I'm just going to have a half-assed implementation of something that never works. I'm going to have to re-implement it altogether and blah, blah, blah. Anywho, I forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah, the networking files, which are for some reason grayed out here. I'm a little scared by that. Have some issues. Again, I need to find in files. Okay, so search in files in neovim. How do you do that? Yo, if I end the stream and immediately start a new one, it counts as a different stream, so I can stop using neovim, right? Because what do you need? I need to install these two things. My God in heaven. An ag powered code search and view tool takes advantage of Vim 8's power to support. I was gonna read superpower for some reason. Counts as a separate stream. I'm so close to doing it because neovim is just so. It's lacking so many useful features. I genuinely don't understand. I still don't understand. I have to say I'm sorry, but I don't get it. Hotkeys in a GUI editor. That's what I meant. Hotkeys in a GUI editor. There's no need to complicate things to this level. I feel like I'm being gaslit. I feel like I'm being lied to by a cult here. I do have lazy git. If I say lazy git and it doesn't make sense, I'm talking about lazy vim. It does have search, but that only lets me search for in the current file. Pretty sure neovim is a cult. I cannot imagine just wanting to do this. Again, I understand the keyboard thing. It's not really true, but I don't care for that matter. Like I said, I don't care if it saves me 1 second of taking my hand off the keyboard and put it in on the mouse. Because I'm saving 20 hours of my life by not arguing with people online over which code editor is better. I just use whatever works for me. And there I save more time than I do by using key bindings. But I'm genuinely trying to understand. I just can't. I just can't. I feel like this makes no sense. Okay. Yeah. /v is not search is not really helping. Lazy vim search files. Still not finding it. Here, fuzzy finder, this thing, telescope, it's an extra. You can execute commands with keybinds, like F5 to compile with make. I can do that in VS Codium. I'm sure I can do that in any other editor. There was a 3D printed glove-like keyboard. The learning curve to use it was estimated for 6 months by the tester. How's neovim treating me? I just said that I feel like I'm being gaslit by a cult, so what's that tell ya? I do read YouTube chat. What did I miss? LazyVim, I have that. But it searches for a specific file, not for all files. I need to search in all files. Again, I would genuinely already be done if this was Visual Studio Code. I am struggling so hard to not press the stop streaming button and then press the start streaming button. Some people go with stenography by typing words instead of letters. I'm personally using Comac with a cheap split ortho keyboard. More of this stuff is for flex and to be different. That's what I feel like. I agree with that. It doesn't make you more productive. Exactly. I don't feel like it makes you more productive. It is a thing that I have noticed in online discourse and with several content creators especially, but generally on online discourse, since before people were even classifying themselves as content creators or influencers or anything. So they still were, but they weren't classifying themselves as such, is that It's focusing on how to do something, how to program in the most efficient way possible. I see it in music so much in music. It's incredible. It's like, you gotta use this plugin. This is how you maximize the quality of your recording. This is how you can edit your perfect vocals. This is just how to use the perfect delay plugin with the perfect settings with the... And then you got Billie Eilish recording like a Grammy winner album in her fucking living room. Granted, her brother does a lot of the technical stuff, and I'm sure she does as well, but it doesn't change the fact that they're not recording in like a custom built room that adapts to the shape of her vocal cords to maximize the reverb, and I'm just making shit up. Oh, space instead of just... Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I see that so much in music, and I see it so much in programming. That doesn't feel like it worked. Where you spend more time talking about how to do it than actually doing it. Failed to spawn. Trackpads are amazing. I got so used to the trackpad that I play Minecraft straight on my trackpad when I have a USB mouse connected on my side. It needs rip grab, so I need to install the other thing for it to work. Mira, I'm not doing this. I would have been able to do it file by file at this point with the time that I've wasted just looking up how to do it once. I don't want to switch back to my main editor, to be fair. Because I'm trying to use a different editor. Because let's not call it my main editor anymore. I'm just trying to not use yeah, that thing anymore. Yeah, actually, this is not even needed. Yeah, networking. Transport layer, C socket, UDP. Zed and Kate are waiting for you. You know what? Yeah, that's... We're gonna waste so much time just spending the entire stream doing this instead of just doing this. I'm not running another command. I already decided that I'm not using neovim, so all of that would be a waste of time. And I can just do this search. See, if I wanted to do this with no, how does it work? See, I still need to learn this one as well, but there. Yeah, where's my... How did my cursor make it all the way up there? Okay, I would have had to do this in like a million different files, so I'm glad that I decided to cheat a little bit. Is that the new IDA that's super blazing fast? Which one? This is Z. And this is the calculator that opens with a hotkey on my keyboard. Dedicate a key just for the calculator. It didn't support Windows. Okay, that makes sense. Z is pretty nice, I have to say. It's most likely the one I'm gonna end up picking. Wait, okay, yeah. Saving saves all the files at once, because I haven't been saving so far. There's so much networking stuff, Jesus. At this point, it's like Networking is about as big as the rest of the operating system. And in like 2 out of the 3 computers that I've tested it on, it doesn't work. Amazing. Love that for me. Yeah, I don't have to replace everywhere. I'm checking all of them one by one. For example, checksums doesn't need to be changed. I may still be getting a few that aren't. No, types doesn't need to be changed. Although it would have been faster for me to do this and then just like fix the errors that come from that, but whatever. Yeah, no, here actually only one needs to change. How many more? We're only halfway through. Holy shit, imagine if I had done this in neovim. No, 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 no. I am glad I cheated. No, this stays the same. Came here for neovim. Just give me a minute. This would take me too long to do in neovim. Network types, netproc. What I could have searched for, although it's a little bit too late now. Include net with that. Okay, that at least reduces the number of socket types, network types, network types. Nope, just these two. God damn calculator button, bro. See, that grep would replace a bunch of stuff that it shouldn't. I'm not sure about this net.h. Yeah, that stays there. Just the layer ones change. Why do I feel like they never run out? I feel like I've already gone through these files. This is the kind of thing you would use neovim to speed up things. I don't feel like you would. If I wanted to, I'm pretty sure I could have done a regular expression here as well. Just don't think my brain can handle that right now. Yeah, definitely not considering whatever the hell I just wrote there. Skipped one. That should be it. I think he said. Think he said. Think he said. Going back. See, there is. I knew there was an exception that I forgot. Socket types. This one is entirely wrong. Thoughts on what? Zed, I need you. Come back. Not detour though. Control Shift F. And then is there a search and replace here? I'm not seeing it. A simple button for it. Toggle replace, here it is. Neovim's going amazing, as you can tell. Networking types. No results? Are we sure about that? It feels like there's some results. See? Is it not networking types? It's network types. God. Oh my god. Did that not work? Replace. Save. What was that? Okay, there's more. I skipped some more. God damn it, I hate doing this shit. Actually, screw it. Didn't we just go through this? Didn't we just go through this? Oh, but the audio.cpp, that one. Alright, we're going back to you, neovim, here. That one is here, I'm pretty sure. Mixer is now audio mixer. Working transport layer. Working transport layer. Where the fuck did I type? Working transport layer. Why didn't the multi-cursor work? There. Are we happy? Oh my god, finally. No, wait, hold on. Ugh. What the hell is your problem? Oh yeah. There we go. Okay. It finally compiles. And all I had to do was change 130 files. That's gotta be a joke. It is not a joke. Wasn't that absolutely amazing? Wait, should have probably done a clean, just in case, but I think it's gonna be fine. Watch it have a million different errors again. You can pretend you were insanely productive? Yeah, Elon would keep me hired. Although that was like 130 files committed, but like 130 lines of code, so. Okay. That was step one of this goddamn refactor. Now, I can just do... Wait, no, hold on. Let me do a little something else. This makefile is a cross-platform makefile, which doesn't require a whole lot of adaptation. Mostly what I needed to do is remove some hyphens from here and include them here. So I can do the same thing inside of the OS library. Although we'll have to do it for all makefiles. Like here. Now this is a useful feature of Vim, I have to say. The delete under cursor. Actually, there's only one place where I really need to do it. In the common MK, delete these hyphens. And then if arch is empty, then this just becomes GCC, G++, LD, AR, and OBJ copy. Simple as that. And by default, then arch needs to include a hyphen. You should still be able to compile. I forgot, when you actually change the makefile, it doesn't remake everything. But it seems to be working. I mean, I think it would have failed by now if the compilation had failed. Okay, that's cool. So now with just that makefile, it should be enough to be able to compile the library for cross-platform. However, this is where there are some issues. Let me commit what I have first. There's just these two changes. Pretty simple. Commit. And I also want to git push, but I'm not sure how to do that from lazy git, so there. Okay, if you want to compile with Linux GCC or with the other GCC, any other GCC essentially, you can do make C OS shared which yeah. And can you just override arch to be empty? No, I don't think that worked. Well, maybe? I'm on the wrong tab. Just realized that. Meant to do it from here. Yes, yes, you can. But this mcpu is a flag that should only exist when you're compiling for Arch. So this CPU thing right here. How do you cut? It doesn't tell you how to do it. Shouldn't this have like the key bindings so I can learn them? You can compile Linux to run as a binary? What? What? Seriously? How full-featured is it? Is it like having a virtual machine inside a process or what? That's funny. I'm just using the same syntax that I'm seeing here. If eq, right, the variable arch, and the value arch 64 non-elf dash, and if user mode Linux. All right, I'll look it up in a second. Let me finish writing this. Then I want to paste what I had. This common flags is going to be equal to common. This looks like autocomplete. It is autocomplete. Okay. There. So that should add that flag when I'm compiling. Common flags references itself eventually. It's not eventual. It's a thing. Okay, so clearly you don't do it like that. See, it doesn't actually do autocomplete. Not here anyway. DD is to delete a line. Select and D is to select. Actually, let me try it. Cool. Cool. I have to say, I get it, but I don't. You know? I get it, but I don't. I get it, but I don't know why you would want to choose this as your first editor. Yeah, no, that was dumb. That's not where I meant to delete it. I meant to delete it off here. But that's the wrong syntax, clearly. Is that being done anywhere else? Can I just do plus equals or something? Is that a thing? Not even sure how this works. This is a makefile thing, to be fair. Any chance you like that? Surprisingly, it seems like yes, it did. Okay. Why does page up go back and page down goes forward? That's the opposite of how you would expect it to be. Man, engineer, and designer, welcome. Shared, and that's it. It made the library. No, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. It is an OS from scratch, yes. I'm working on porting this library that I used to the OSS standard library to cross-platform, so I can make some cross-platform stuff. It compiled. Wait, of course it compiled. I compiled it without specifying that I want the arch to be empty. Okay, that makes more sense. RNG, no such instruction. Okay, so that's another thing that I realized I needed to fix. Someone made Linux boot in Scratch and a PDF. And Doom in a PDF says average Doom experience right there. Someone mentioned Linux in user space. We gotta see this. An area of the Linux operating system where user applications run... Oh no, that's not what I meant. You making game yet? I'm just working on the library so that I can make the game. The first thing I'm gonna want to do is port the game that I already made to Linux. Or funnily enough, I could port Doom from my operating system to Linux when the original source was the Linux source. User mode Linux. Okay, not Linux in user space. It's a virtualization system for the Linux operating system based on an architectural port of the Linux kernel to its own system call interface, which enables multiple virtual Linux kernel-based operating systems to run as applications within a normal Linux system known as the host. A Linux kernel compiled for the architecture can then boot as a process under another Linux kernel entirely in user space without affecting a host's environment's configuration or stability. That's crazy. How easy is it to set it up? Because it would be so much faster if instead of using QEMU, I did this. The UML guest application, a Linux binary ELF, was originally available as a patch for some kernel versions above 2.2, and the host with any kernel version above 2.2 supported it easily in the thread mode. Damn. Can it launch graphical ads? Good question. Can it do that? It is generally considered, by whom, to have lower performance than some competing technologies, such as Xen or OpenVZ. Future work in adding support for x86 virtualization to UML may reduce this disadvantage. Often cited as a strength of Xen, a competing technology, is support for thread local storage. This is now a supported feature in the latest UML kernels. And it's been ported to IA64. Yeah, this is super discontinued. And PowerPC, equally super discontinued. L for Linux is para-virtualized on an L4 microkernel. Interesting. Good to know that it was originally designed for an architecture that we still use, but it's also since then been ported to two that are discontinued. I believe PowerPC is fully discontinued. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it is. It was created by the Apple IBM Motorola Alliance, known as IM. Oh my god, that is so old. I don't think they're still doing this. I don't think the Apple Motorola, what was the other one? IBM Alliance is still a thing. I don't think Motorola or IBM are barely still a thing. UML was used before hardware virtualization was popular. Okay, so it's quite old. You would have thought that would be better than normal virtualization. They could have kept going with this, but no. For editor, today I'm forcing myself to use neovim. Today and only today. I'm disqualifying it as soon as I end the stream, I'm not gonna lie. And for Fridays, use the port of UML as a side project. Nah. Nah. We're good. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. No, but thank you. I do appreciate it. But no. Okay, I'm not done here. RNG. This is actually an architectural issue. with RNG, but before I do it, um, okay. You're gonna try to do a port of UML. That's interesting. Okay, RNG init random, this function right here, is using an instruction that it shouldn't. It's an ARM-only instruction, but also it is a kernel-only instruction because it's a privileged instruction. And this is in a shared library, so it absolutely does not belong here. I hate having to type in the path every single time. Navigating between files is the biggest issue I have with these functions. With these editors, I mean. Wait, that function already exists here. Did I just cut, but it didn't get put in the... Oh. D is cut line, isn't it? It's not delete line, it's cut line. Isn't it? So I just lost what I just changed. Shit. I can always bring it right back. That X is delete. X is delete, right? Although it looks like I already have it here. So really all I should have done is delete it. And what's the one for pasting? What the fuck did I just do? I'm just gonna paste like the... What did I just do? Oh my god, this is so... I'm having fun, I can say that at least. It's a bit of a lie, but not too much. Yeah. This function is absolutely unnecessary. God damn it, DNS. I guess it's not absolutely unnecessary anymore. Fucking DNS, I swear to God. Alright. Didn't I just... How many times do I have to bring this function back? Just so I can then delete it off of here. I'm just gonna use the cursor, the mouse for this one, because I'm wasting too much time with the wrong... Alright, that And then I can also just delete this and replace it with RNG init random with and global ring. The dev random was also leaking kernel stack memory. What? Oh, I would not be surprised. I haven't touched that one in years. Not really. Okay, so to fix you, we need to declare it in the header. Oh, you can just do this. That better have worked. It did. Oh, thank God. Okay, is that enough for you? Or do I need to also change your headers? I need to change your headers. God damn it. Base FF find file. I think that may be different on new on LazyGit. I'm not sure. DHCP daemon. Okay, so yank. .c or .h? .c. Not seeing the include. Here. I mean to copy all that, did I? God. We've done it. We've done it. Please don't make me do this again. Shift V arrow keys. Oh my god, it's like an entirely new thing. Just to copy and paste text. No. TCP. Why do they all use their own random implementations in the first place? UDP probably does too. UDP, are you not using random? Are you serious? You're lying to me? Actually, UDP doesn't use random. That makes sense. Ekumi? Oh yeah, hold on. Why am I not compiling with multi-threading? Alright, we're good. Randomized has been fixed. Now, what it will complain about in the cross-platform is the vectors. I have to admit, I haven't researched this one yet, and I couldn't find anything on stream yesterday. That was a pain in the ass. We'll get to that eventually. And after the vectors, it's gonna be the syscalls. But one at a time. Lazy git. All right. A little bit more. Then I am going to have dinner because it's almost 11 and I haven't done that. That's probably a useful thing to do. About the vectors. They're in shared math. I love that opening a folder closes the previous folder without opening the one that you requested. And then I opened the wrong thing. So I think it has autocomplete, but it does not. Okay, about the vectors. There was some weird shit going on yesterday, so I'm just not gonna implement anything. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create stubs for these functions. elif defined x86 64. Was that the syntax? Or was this the syntax? Nah, this looks weird. This was not the syntax. This has to be the syntax. Collect 6 calls of other... Yeah, I know about that. Okay. And then, yank yank. No. Yank yank. And then... pp. Wait. pp. Just one p. xx. No. Getting the hang of the hank of the neovim here. No, I'm not. Yank. Delete. And paste. What the fuck are you pasting? So unintuitive. You can tell it was made by developers for developers. It's the lack of intuitiveness to it. When it deletes, the deleted gets put into the paste buffer. That's it. It's made me go evil now. Also, this is in the wrong place. Oh my god. Just fucking... No, what? No, what? No, just... Breathe. Remember breathing exercises, alright? Let's not let neovim take control. Lord in heaven, save me. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, give me patience, because if you give me strength, I will fucking murder someone. It's making me turn fucking religious. This is the worst. Can you imagine if what I'm typing is wrong? Like the x86_64 is wrong and I have to fix it everywhere? Fuck no. I'm quitting programming. All this for not even implementing the functions. I'm literally just writing. I'm literally just preventing a. Yeah, it's still gonna crash. I can do a search and replace. That's true. Okay, in Z, ideally. So in the next stream. Alright, I got hair all over my face. I do need to implement some very basic stubs, and I remember implementing them like this. This one is the only one that isn't a stub. It's a full implementation, but not an efficient one. I'm used to auto-completing with tab. That one's on me. It does have autocomplete, but not with tab. But at least you don't have to autocomplete with a command or some weird shit like that. Return A. Alright. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to go here. What I can't get used to is the control page up, page down, which is actually the opposite of what it should be. No, that's not it. I have a setup that allows me to not use the syscalls, not implement the syscalls, because in the kernel, those syscalls are not implemented. So sh flags the kernel. Okay, which leaves me with only 3 of them, because those are not implemented in the kernel, so they are implemented as normal. Those are sleep, halt, and yield. If there even is a yield. I'm pretty sure there is, but I'm not sure. Syscalls. S. I typed in the whole thing. Oh, thank God. Thank God it has history. Though that was wrong. That, I'm pretty sure you have no excuse for that one. Why when I open a directory, but I already have another directory open, it closes the previous one, but it doesn't open the new one? That doesn't make sense. I'm just not. Let me see if that's enough, or if I have to do a whole bunch of makefile configuration in this. But I can now compile with the cross flag. Those are still there. Oh yeah, this endif actually ends. All right, let me try this again. dd pp, just one p. Don't need to p twice, you just p once. memfd secret syscall reserves memory for user space processes. Even the kernel can't access that memory. Oh, in mine it can. I can I'll undo that. And Shift D deletes the whole line. I was wondering, because when I'm deleting and there's no more characters on the current line, I would expect it to delete the line, but it doesn't. Okay. That actually compiles the entire library. However, it does not work. Okay. I have to go through a few files to talk about the main challenges that I have from now on to do this, but I'm gonna try to do it from here, okay? That is ridiculous. Okay. Two main challenges at this point. The input audio, we can ignore audio. Networking, we can also ignore networking, but input, networking, audio, graphics, those are the only ones. Those four modules are completely different in Linux, Mac, Windows, and Redacted OS. I want to use the Redacted OS library to work with all of them, which requires some level of a translation layer for them. So, what I just did here in the syscalls is if I have this cross definition, which I declare here, then I simply do not compile this section over here, which is the assembly code for cross compilation. This leads to absolutely nothing, so essentially I don't compile anything. Actually, I can, again, yank, no, dd, and then go to the beginning, p, that was wrong, m minus 1, m minus 1. Come on, man. I was finally... Come on, man. Just... move to the previous line. Just swap. Come on, my people. Swap with each other. Wait, that's not... No, it does the opposite. Okay, like that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. This is a little bit more correct, but technically none of this was getting compiled, so it doesn't really matter. This just looks cleaner. Okay, so I defined this symbol cross, and if the symbol is defined, then the ARM definition of the syscalls is not going to be compiled, which I also take to mean we don't do syscalls because we're not in Redacted OS. This library is not being compiled for the system, it's being compiled for Linux, Windows, or Mac, so we don't do these. That's challenge number one. I use a lot of the same function names that they use. malloc, free, print. Well, print L, but I should be using print, so that one's on me. Exec, fopen, fread, fwrite, fclose, sleep, halt. I use the same names, but mine are different. They either work differently or they have different arguments. And that in C is a major issue for which I do not know how to fix it. If I use libc, essentially, which raylib requires, so I have to use libc or implement everything myself, then I will have to either make them match one-to-one or change the name of my functions so that they don't collide with the ones in libc, because obviously I'm not going to change the names of the functions in libc. I think malloc is almost the same, but the argument for the size that you're trying to allocate is different. I use a 64-bit integer. They use something else, I think a 32-bit. And so that is a problem. Free is different because I cannot allow on-sized free. I have to know the size when you're freeing. It's a limitation of my system, but it is there. So these functions are different. Print is probably the same. Although I don't even have a printf, that's the funny thing. So the problem becomes that any way that I can think of using libc for the cross-platform compilation will collide with the names of the functions that I use. So either I rename some of my most used functions like malloc, free, fopen, fread, fwrite, fclose, which are also like really generic names. They're really basic. Or I make them conform to libc. Neither of which is really viable. Well, I'm not sure if libc has fopen, fread, fwrite, fclose, but Linux does. So I'm not sure how to solve that problem, to be completely honest. The ideal thing would be my malloc calls the libc malloc internally, but because we're in C, we don't have any name mangling and we don't have any overloading or any functions with different signatures but same name, then it's just gonna be a compiler error. Your function is different in your library and the libc library. That's a problem. Fuck you. Fix that. Nothing I can do about that as far as I know. And that one's going to be an issue. A smaller issue for me to solve, much smaller for me to solve, is making the graphics system work with, and even the input system work with my implementation. The way that it works in my system is you request, commit, or resize a draw context. A draw context is just a window that you're allowed to, well, yeah, an area that you draw to. It's just a frame buffer. It's just an area of memory, width and height, and some rectangle information so you can only redraw the parts that are changed. It's fairly easy for me to just rewrite my UI draw library. These functions, and not even these functions actually, these functions, FB clear, pixel, no, not pixel blend stays the same, draw pixel, all of these, to internally call raylib functions. That part's easy. And then raylib internally calls Linux, Mac, and Windows functions. And for the inputs, essentially, I do the translation in this file alone. That part's going to be super easy. Same thing is going to happen for the input system, which is a syscall as well. And all the other syscalls as well, like manually creating a draw context based off of the window that is being created by raylib. Time, super simple. Socket, probably won't be implementing sockets in the first revision of this thing, but yeah. And file reading, not entirely sure how that one is going to work, because I don't remember what it's like to work with files in Unix-like systems with libc, but yeah. The biggest issue I have is the name collisions. I genuinely don't know how to fix that one without changing my APIs to use completely different function names. And that part sucks. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. There's not much I can do about it, I think. Sleep and halt as well, actually. Well, I don't know about halt. Maybe they just use exit. But yeah, the fact that I'm using the same function names that are different that are the same function names as them but different signatures and different behaviors really came back to bite me in the ass with this one. Otherwise, it would be fairly simple to implement this library. So, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm not sure entirely at all, in the slightest, how I'm gonna do that. I'm hoping I don't have to change all my syscall names to this. C++ namespaces. That's not an option. It's just not gonna be an option. One thing I was thinking is how difficult is it to implement those functions? Mass replace function names. Yeah, there is. I just don't want to do that. Like malloc. What am I gonna call malloc? Could I call it alloc? Sure, but free. I could call it free sized. Load libc dynamically. I don't think that would help. Maybe red malloc. That sucks. When you're writing a redacted OS only app, you have to put the redacted OS name in front of it. That would be crazy. Although Apple knows a thing or two about doing that. NS string, NS object. They know a thing or two about that. But just like they've moved on past Objective-C, I don't want to do rmalloc. Oh god. I really shot myself in the foot with that one. So the red prefix is only for non-redacted OS compiles. Yeah, but then when you write your code, you have to write malloc. And then you're targeting two different... I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Gonna get ugly? Most likely. Watch me on next stream on Friday come back with an entire compiler just to fix this issue. Hey, so what was the solution? Oh, I replaced GCC. That's it. It's that simple. Why did I not think of that? I mean, that is the plan eventually, but not right now. That is a problem. One thing about one thing that I was thinking is how difficult is it to implement these things from scratch? Because I know newlib implements libc from scratch. Most likely I'm gonna have to change the names, and yeah, then I can create a redacted only header that still allows you to use the normal names. Oh god, that sucks. And it is actually libc compatible. Or I can just make my implementation libc compatible as much as I can. Try anyway. Except for the files thing. I don't know if libc has files. Said? Yes, I tried it. I was using it a little bit. Oh, picolibc? Okay. Because newlib is the one that came to mind, but if there's anything smaller, feels better. Yeah, no, picolibc in GitHub, please. Can you DL open libc? What's DL open? There's also throw. Did I just see something about Rust? Oh, redistribution. I read this as rustification. What the hell? Must libc. There's a lot of libc implementations. I'm about to add a new one apparently. What's this? I'm not sure this is what you were saying. Look, the easiest implementation, most likely, to wrap my own internals with different names and provide a libc compatible header that does the translation on my end, not on theirs. Sucks. But it feels like it's going to be the most likely solution here. Is that loading? Yeah, it is. Top of the Linux official Git repository. Oh, they're not on GitHub. Okay, that makes sense. I think I had to use this to bundle libc with a crawl native image to build for a static executable. Okay, I'll look into this one. All right. I do need to get dinner before midnight at the very least. But that's going to be the end of the stream. Next stream is going to be Friday. And actually, by the next time, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to game and during the week. Feels like a no. Not in a very gaming mood. Next time I stream, I'm going to be officially on holidays from work. So I'll have more time for this. So that's gonna be great. And next time I stream, I'm either gonna have renamed half my functions, my syscalls. Built a compiler just to handle multiple functions with the same name. Found a hack for this, or something else. Time off work to do more work, yeah. Now, I told myself I'm only going to stream on my scheduled times for development, but I might stream more for games during those holidays. If I feel like doing that. Just like not adding to the extra workload when the point is to rest, but I do want to keep streaming. All right, so with that, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. The next stream is on Friday. It is on Friday at 6:30 p.m. UTC, UK time, same as today, 7:30 p.m. CET, Central European time. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I do have to fix the crash that's currently happening in my file system branch. And then most likely I'm going to move that file system branch to main because I'm not going to implement this thing. The exclusive rights, non-exclusive rights, because I don't have multiple processes writing to the same file. This is a thing that currently isn't happening. So I'm not going to do that. Probably. It might fix the cat issue, so I'm not sure. But probably not gonna do that. All right. Like I said, thank you so much, everybody. I will see you on Friday.